Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the lecture for Chapter 10, Part 2, Emerging Adulthood, Cognitive Development. This one shouldn't be too long, but here we go. All right, we're mostly going to focus on education and work. Starting off, I can say that during emerging adulthood, those advances that we start to see in late adolescence just kind of continue cognitively. A person's thinking becomes a little bit more complex and better developed. During emerging adulthood, training beyond secondary school is called tertiary education. So we're talking about going to college and that sort of thing. This has become a normative experience with women outnumbering men, especially in the Western countries. There are a lot of countries that still restrict women and any females from even being educated, but in Western countries, women are outnumbering men in the college experience. So we have higher numbers of women. There is a lot of cultural variations in tertiary education. In Japan, basically, when they are finishing high school and they have a lot of competitive testing and things like that they experience through high school, trying to get them into the best college and the best situation for them. So the first year when they're starting college in Japan is more relaxed and undemanding. They've already kind of met a lot of criteria prior to getting there. So the 4 years of sanctioned activities to think, basically that just means that when they are in college, they are really focusing on their education, but in addition, they just don't have that pressure that people have in the United States when they're starting college, because they kind of already went through that during their high school time. In Europe, there are no general education requirements. Here in the United States, you have to take all of these different courses to kind of give you a more well-rounded look at things, whereas in Europe, things are just kind of streamlined. We talked about in adolescence how people have internships that they go to, and they are focused on they get kind of funneled in and focused on a particular direction to go, and they don't have that general education that kind of gives them a little bit broader view. Traditionally in Europe, the tertiary education or the college lasts 6 years, and you study a specific discipline. Currently, they are changing to match the US pattern. So instead of being really, really honed in and focused on that one area, in Europe, some of the colleges are starting to expand a little bit to give people more of that general education stuff, in addition to just the focused field that they're going to be on, to kind of give them just a broader view there. US and Canada requires 2 years of general education. This allows time for exploration. In theory, what this is supposed to do is let you touch on all these different disciplines so that you can say, oh my gosh, I never thought of this, but this is something that really interests me. I'm taking biology and I never even considered being a biology major, but now that I've taken it, I love it and I want to pursue biology instead of English. So that's kind of what that general education can do. Many Americans will take 6 years to earn a 4-year degree. Why is that? Well, we found that we meaning the broad community of researchers, have discovered that the main reason why it would take 6 years to complete a 4-year degree is because of finances. People have to work a lot of times during their schooling. They are not able to just go to college and have it all paid for in most circumstances. The United States does not have a system like Europe where your college will be paid for. In the United States, people have to take out loans. They have to try to find a way to pay for that education on their own. There are certain grants and things like that that people get, and scholarships, but rarely do they even cover all the expenses you need, especially when we're talking about housing expenses. If you have to move, say you get a full ride scholarship up there to Berkeley or somewhere, you still have to find housing, be able to eat, all of that. That's not included in that full ride scholarship that you get. So this is one of the reasons why people have trouble finishing their degrees. It's just the financial aspects of it. What are the benefits of basically a college education? Well, higher earning and occupational status. You can make more money and have a job with a little bit more prestige. You learn very good verbal and quantitative skills, although you can't tell that from my videos here. Oral and written communication is improved and helps you in all sorts of aspects of your life. You can really develop a distinct identity. It helps you to really get a grip on who you feel that you are, gives you social confidence because you kind of have an area of expertise to draw from, and increased self-concept and psychological well-being. All of these things are kind of connected to self-esteem and such. This is a quick look at the economic benefits of tertiary education. The blue bars here are talking about annual earnings. So people with a bachelor's degree or more, we're talking about like 45,000 and up. This is just the average, I guess. And then 2-year degree, some college, we're looking at about 30,000. And then a high school graduate, we're probably under that 30,000 mark. These are just taken off of research that was done a few years back. With our new economy, I don't know how that's going to be playing out. But on the other side, we're looking at unemployment rates. People with a bachelor's degree or more have much lower unemployment rates than those with just a 2-year degree or some college or high school graduates. So the earning capacity and the ability to stay employed, even in a really rough time, if you have that bachelor's degree, sometimes you can find work, maybe not even in your field, but because you have that degree, you may be able to get a job that somebody else cannot get. Education and work, finding adult work. For some, the job search is systematic and changing. So when you're trying to find work, you are creating a system, you are adapting that system of job hunting so that you can, it's a more organized system for some people. For others, it's kind of a meandering without focus. You're just kind of applying here, applying there, maybe not focusing in on how to specifically develop your materials for the particular job that you're looking at or the category of jobs that you're looking at. Job search skills are very important, and there's something that's worthwhile to learn. We can't cover that in this course, but it is something for you to maybe take time to look at the best way to prepare a resume, interview skills, things like that are things that need to be practiced. After tertiary education, people may struggle to find work that pays enough to live on. So even though people will get that college degree, sometimes they have a little bit of trouble getting started and getting into the field. Without tertiary education, some basic skills are needed to obtain employment. So in other words, with that college degree, it can still be a little bit tough to get in the door with work. However, without that type of education, it is even a little bit more difficult. If you're not able to get that type of education, then there are certain skills that are needed to obtain employment. There are 6 basic skills that are required for most jobs. The first one is to be able to read at a 9th grade level or higher. A lot of news articles and things like that are basically written almost to like the 6th grade level for most people to be able to understand them. Doing math at a 9th grade level or higher. Solving semi-structured problems. So you'd have some parameters that you would, some parameters and guidelines to solve problems, not expected to come up with everything on your own. Communicating orally and in writing. So just basic writing skills and a basic grasp of the language so that you can communicate effectively. Using a computer for word processing and other tasks. And being able to collaborate and work with diverse people, a diverse group of people. These are all very important skills that are necessary for successful employment. Unemployment rates are twice as high for people that are in emerging adulthood than those over 25, or in my case here, it says toes. So in other words, it is more difficult to get started and get in the door when you're a young person. Unemployment for young adults and teens is especially high for minorities. And part of the reason for that is a lot of our manufacturing jobs have diminished, and manufacturing industry employed a lot of people that were minorities. All of this is going to be interesting to see in a couple of years when some studies and evaluations have been done after 2020 to see what kind of our new dynamic is here. Okay, that's kind of short and sweet. That's all we've got for this section. I will be seeing you in the next one. Stay safe, take care, and have a really good day.